like most chains out there, they are either inflationary, which means their coins will always go up. So they'll be able
Like
to
the
mint
number,
more.
not the value, by the way, the
No,
number of
the
coins
number
keep
of
increasing.
coins, yeah,
Yeah.
can go up, or they're stagnant, so they'll always have the same amount of tokens, coins, whatever. So we're classed as hyper deflationary. Basically, we started off with 10 billion as a supply. We're now at 9.3 billion. But when the chain launches, it's built into the gas structure that $1 from every single transaction on chain will buy and burn VSG. So that means it's hyper deflationary. So the supply will start to dwindle. So let's say, for example, you buy 10,000 tokens, for just as an example, today at 9.3 billion, and then that supply goes down to 1 billion. That means that your 10,000 tokens are worth, tenfold more, because obviously there's less of them. So the more you burn, the more the price goes up, basically.
Take the first step towards online privacy. Get NordVPN.
Lots and lots of people are making ridiculous gains from meme coins, but there is a whole sector that has gone unnoticed, which has proved to be ridiculously profitable, and that's the layer ones. And I'm going to be talking about what that is and a new up and coming layer one project that is going to upend the market. Hi, everybody, it's Crypto Rich working with you to get rich with crypto, filling our pockets with layer one profits. Fingers crossed. And you might be wondering, well, what is a layer one? Don't worry, don't worry. I'll tell you. And once I tell you, you will understand. It's very, very simple and very clear. Now, before I introduce my guest, please subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Crypto Rich YT, join my official Telegram announcements channel. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please come and support my work on, I said Twitter, didn't I? On X, on ODYSEE, and on Rumble. Thank you so much. All right. Hey, Whitaker, thank you so much. You are one of the team at VSG, Vector Smart Gas.
Yes.
Yes. And there's a reason why you're not on camera, which is that your mobile signal where you are is really poor. But
The last video I did, when I was on camera, it was just, I look like one of those pictures just that kept on slightly moving every now and again. So it's just it's a bad signal area, but I'm here. So
yes. And people want to know what Whitaker looks like in real life. Well, you can see from the icon that represents him, that is what he really, really looks like in real life. Okay.
absolutely.
So you're one of the team with Vector Smart Gas, which is a layer one protocol. In just like keeping it simple, do you want to say what a layer one protocol is? And perhaps an
Right.
example of one?
Yeah. So a layer one protocol for most people to understand, like Ethereum's a layer one protocol, Solana, those types of things. They basically mean, the best way for someone normal to understand it is when you're inside let's use the UK. When you're inside the UK, the currency is pound.
Yep.
And so if you move that over to the crypto version, let's turn UK into Vector Smart Chain, which is what we are. You need VSG, which is Vector Smart Gas, to be able to do anything within that network. So obviously it turns it from just being a normal token into an actual coin, and it has a proper use case.
Wow, I really like your metaphor. So if I consider a nation as a layer one protocol, and it like Ethereum is a layer one, like
Yep.
Binance Smart Chain, like Near Protocol, that's layer two. Like Binance Smart Chain is also layer two. This gets a bit complicated, right? But Ethereum is definitely layer one.
Yes.
Um, and then if a nation is the layer one, then the token of that layer is the way that you can build applications and transact and move things about. So in the UK, you can do that with pounds. If the United States was a layer one, then it would be using the dollar. And how
Correct.
layer ones are different, say from Bitcoin, or Litecoin or Pirate Chain, those are just currencies. They're just coins, value exchange. It's money. But
Yeah.
a layer one allows for applications to be built, just like you can build buildings inside a nation state.
Of course. Exactly. Which means basically it's needed, right? Because this is the whole point. You got something that's a value. Generally it's needed. It's not wanted, because it's very difficult to get everyone to want the same thing. But it's very easy to get everyone to need the same thing.
Okay, all right. But I mean, there are so many layer ones already. And actually, Vector Smart Gas, I love the links all in the description below, so people can go check this out and do their own due diligence and look and see for themselves. But when did it launch?
So we launched the initial token back in the 18th of December 2023. We've kind of evolved over time.
Yep.
With as everything does in crypto.
Yep.
We started off as a layer 2 on the side of Ethereum, just like a bit of a roll up. But as the time went along, we met new developers that allowed us to progress into a layer 1. So the developers that we have are actually previous L1 task force at Lunaterra Classic. They were the guys that assisted the main team in restarting the chain after the crash with USTC. So they're the guys who have built our chain from scratch. So you've got something that's very, very unique and different.
Okay. Now, I just want to say, because I want this for people who aren't familiar with cryptocurrencies or layer 1s and layer 2s and everything, right? So I'm going to translate what you said a little bit, specifically the term layer 2. So you've got cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Pirate Chain, and Monero, which are money. And then you've got layer 1s like Ethereum. And then layer 2s. Layer 2s will be projects like Polygon or Binance Smart Chain or Near Protocol. And what they run on top of the layer 1 to smooth it all out.
Yes.
But it runs much, much faster. So then Vector Smart Gas started off as a layer 2 and has now moved to a layer 1. Okay.
Yes.
Now this is an incredibly competitive space. And you've got Ethereum with first mover advantage, and then Matic or Polygon and Near Protocol that came ahead of you. What's so special about Vector Smart Gas?
Well, obviously Vector Smart Chain. Let's use that because obviously it's the chain we're talking about at the moment, not the actual gas token on it. But what you've got to look at is Ethereum. I'm an ETH maxi. I've always been massively into Ethereum and the network that it provides and everything else with it being EVM. But it's become a little bit of a dinosaur. It's been around for a long time, right? So, it's very difficult for Ethereum to progress any further than where it is. I'm not saying the value won't go up. Of course, it will do as more people come into crypto. They'll invest into Ethereum. Of course, they will. Where's the place for a new layer 1? Well, there's lots of different places for new layer 1s, but it's the application and the way we've put it forward for the real world space and actually tradability and scalability. So the thing is with Vector Smart Chain is it's the first ever layer 1 blockchain out there that has a solid gas fee. And people might think, oh, what's so great about that? Well,
first of all, what do you mean by a solid gas fee?
Well, a solid gas fee basically means it doesn't fluctuate. It's not dynamic gas like every single other chain out there. Whether it's a cheap gas chain or a high gas chain. Like say, for example, 1 minute on Ethereum, it can be $10 to do a transaction, but then 10 minutes later, it can be $100. It all depends on the network fluctuation at the time. Now that doesn't work in the real world. Okay, it doesn't, it just does not work for the general mass, the general public, because there's no way of telling how much things are going to cost you. Which basically means it's unpredictable. And as we know, as human beings, we thrive off structure and predictability. If we have structure and predictability, we tend to favor that rather than unpredictability. So that's where we've gone with Vector Smart Chain. We're providing an opportunity for the real world to come to a predictable chain. Now, there's two sides to it. You've got the tradability side, which is the DeFi tokens and all the different utility tokens that would launch. It's very easy for a trader to understand day to day what it's going to cost them in gas. They're not going to be worried on our chain if they want to say buy something for $100 and they've got $110 in the wallet. They can safely buy something on our chain for $100 and not worry when they want to come to sell it. They can sell it because they've got the $10 in the wallet. Whereas if they was on Ethereum, you couldn't say the same because the gas may be higher. They wouldn't be able to exit their position without adding more Ethereum. All right. Mm-hmm. So that's the trader side. But on the real world asset side, which is what's really interesting, is what you've got to understand is the reason why the real world businesses have not really adopted blockchain at the moment is because they can't quantify it. Right. Which basically means they can't spreadsheet how much blockchain is going to cost their business per year. right? Well, you've got to imagine sat in a boardroom of let's just say $1 billion company, right? And the director goes to the accountant and says, so I want to integrate blockchain into our day-to-day workings because we think it's going to be a lot more smoother. It's going to be easier for everyone to access it around the world, so on and so on and so on. First question the accountant's going to ask that CEO, how much is that going to cost us?
Yeah.
Right. And the CEO is going to turn around and go, well, I don't know, because the gas fluctuates.
Yes.
So they can't if an accountant of a large corporation or enterprise business cannot work out how much it's going to cost, how can they possibly use the product?
Yes.
They can't. Right.
Yes. Okay.
So this is where the $4 flat gas fee comes in.
$4 gas. Okay. Which let me break this down a little bit. Let me break this down, if I may. So for people new to crypto, whenever you send crypto, whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum or Vector Smart Chain, there's always a transaction fee. Now, with centralized forms of distribution and currency, like with banks, most of the cost is borne by the banks. But if you're going to send money through a distributed network, the cost is borne by the users of the network through the transaction fee. So if Wichko were to send me 10 Bitcoin, one, I'd be very grateful and surprised. Two, he would have to pay a little bit of Bitcoin to send it to me. And I'd have to pay a little bit of a Bitcoin to send him 10 Bitcoin. And the same deal with Ethereum. Now, what happens as there's more and more usage, then the fees, the transaction fees or the gas fees can rise exponentially. I remember the crypto kitties craze in late 2017, $100 gas fees.
Yeah.
When earlier that year they'd been 10 on Ethereum, they'd been 10 cents. And that's not the sort of thing that an accountant can, anybody can account for, because it all depends upon how busy that network becomes. So what you're saying with Vector Smart Chain, the transaction fee is $4 fixed,
yes,
regardless of how congested it is or not or anything. Now $4 does seem rather a lot, given that there are some projects, and I'm thinking in particular the Cosmos ecosystem, where it's pennies.
Yep.
So why $4?
Because basically, you did mention at the start that there's a big competition for layer ones, layer twos, all the way around the space, right?
Yep.
And the reason why there's big competition is because they're all doing the same thing. They're all trying to be the cheapest gas, right? Or a zero layer gas or whatever else, right? Mm-hmm. If you actually look at it, there's only really one chain that I'm aware of that's doing super well with a cheap gas fee, and that's Solana, right? And there's only one reason why Solana is doing really well over every other L1 and L2 chain, and it's purely because it's turned into what we call the Jeet chain or the casino chain. It's full of meme coins, and that's what that chain's about, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that's its application, and that's the reason why it's great. What I would suggest to anyone is why the rest of the cheap gas chains aren't doing better than Ethereum. Why is Ethereum still one of the king chains when it's the most expensive chain
and slowest
and the slowest? So why is that? And it's because it's the easiest to build. It makes everything easy to build an application, and it's very popular, right? So we're not trying to compete with the likes of the cheaper gas chains and everything else. We're trying to give a product that's got a unique value, but also backs up its own chain, right? Because what you've got to understand from that $4, 85 cents of every single transaction goes directly back into our foundation, right, which means the chain constantly pays itself to run itself, which means it can scale, right? Every other chain out there that's cheap gas are constantly worried about maintenance. They're constantly worried about how many transactions they're getting on a daily basis, because they need hundreds of thousands of transactions just to pay their bills, right? Because we've got to understand from a real world point of view, if the chain doesn't have the money to maintain itself, it will break, right? And there's other chain. I'm not going to mention the chains out there, but we know there's chains out there that are quite popular that are really struggling to keep updating their network because they don't have enough funds. Yeah, and it's purely because they have gone down the cheap gas rate, because that's where they get their funds from. People do the transactions, the funds come in, they then use the funds for one thing or another. So $4 allows our business to turn into what I like to call a self-propelled engine.
Mhm.
So we don't need to go on day one and start doing 1 million transactions. We don't need to do that. We need to do a very, very small amount of transactions to be able to maintain our business. And it will keep on growing and growing and growing. So the more transactions from day one, let's say we start off with 2,000 transactions in a day, and then the week after 10,000 transactions in a day. The more transactions we do, we have more money to, one, develop on chain, and two, market the chain out there. So basically the funds coming in are going to be buying transactions on chain. So it's just going to keep on getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Okay. Well, how did you arrive at $4? I mean, why not $1?
Purely because, like I say, just going round into how we've funded the chain and everything else, we've provided our community, because this is the first layer one project that's not sold out to all the venture capitalists. We've not given huge amount of tokens to all these normal guys that would give you the money to launch something like this. We've actually done it in a way where the community's funded the build of the chain, right? And we've done this in a few different ways, but basically the early adopters of VSG and VSC bought into a system that provides them a cashback reward per transaction on chain. So they're effectively like the board. They bought in to be the board of the chain. So they're literally dubbing VSC as the people's chain. But $4 is very easy because you've got to understand we have certain different amounts of processors throughout the whole time. So what you've got to understand, we've got to pay the validators. We've got to make it attractive for the validators to come to chain. We've got to make sure the foundation has enough. We've also got to make sure that the people who have bought into the business, they get rewarded. So $4 kind of made it about right for us to be able to grow in the period of time we wanted to.
Okay. All right. And then again, for people who are new to crypto, what's meant by validators is characters, agencies, agents within the network that keep the chain updated, keep updating transactions. So I take it this is a proof of stake.
It is.
Right. Okay. And then from the $4, 85 cents goes to the foundation for development and marketing. Then there's $3.15, which is shared with the validators, but also the token holders. Is that in the form of staking rewards? Or in addition to
no, it's done on a claim system. So they basically bought into an NFT system that allowed them to access rewards from chain. So they had to pay a certain amount. So basically, we sold shares of the gas to these particular holders. I think there's 900 holders of these NFTs.
Okay.
And so they're the guys that will basically get the recompense from the other gas portions.
Okay, so they're the 900 holders, or the 900 NFT holders. There's 900 NFTs that people are holding. They provided the funds for this launch, and then they're going to get rewarded.
Yes, so it's kind of like a shares-based system, isn't it? Because a certain NFT gives you a certain portion of share. So that's how we did it. From day one. So
This is going to, because I was going to ask you that. How is this funded? So you haven't gone to venture capitals. And the NFTs, are they still available? Can people still buy them?
Unfortunately not. No, they're all sold out.
Okay, is there a secondary market in NFTs, Whitaker?
There is, but I think you would have to have deep pockets. Let me tell you. I think one of them's up for sale. I think for 25 ETH at the moment. So yeah, they kind of understood early how big of an opportunity that was. And they took a while to start selling, but then eventually they just went so quick. And all the guys that grabbed them are so lucky to have them. Really, I mean, no one else has ever really opened it up like that, rather than selling it out to VCs. And to be honest, in my mind, I think that is a better way to do it. Like I say, people are dubbing our chain the people's chain. These people, believe in the project, and they will, just due to the fact that they bought these NFTs, they're going to be with VSG and VSC, I'd say, for a lifetime. So, it's something completely different to what we've seen in crypto before.
Yes, and I've never heard that. And obviously, they will, fingers crossed, be fans of this project. And what great companies do is they don't create customers. Great companies create fans.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And when you launched the NFTs, was it an auction or something, or you had a fixed price for them?
Yeah, no, we had a fixed price for each level. There's 4 different levels. There's a diamond, a carbon, a green, and a gold. So they were all different prices, ranging from high to low. But obviously, the share difference of what you would get out of the business would be different. So, it's something. To be honest, I've not spoke about the NFTs for a while because obviously they've been sold out for, I would say, a good couple of months now. And we don't because they're not on sale anymore. We don't usually get asked about them. It's just kind of they're there and that's it. It's kind of like a done deal in the way, apart from the secondary market, of course.
Yes, no, I get it. I get it. I think what's going on with me is like, I didn't know about it. I didn't know about it. But
Yeah,
some people, I didn't know about Bitcoin when it was cheaper. I didn't know
yeah.
about it. I
Well,
wish I did. Okay.
this is it.
All right. Now, if people want to get involved, they can go to Uniswap and they can purchase the VSG tokens, and we make no promises for any sort of returns, and people got to be responsible for whatever amount they put in. Don't put in more than you can afford to lose. Do your own due diligence. You're responsible for whatever investment or decision that you make in terms of how many VSG tokens you buy or don't buy. It's entirely up to you. Just want to put that in. But that's the only way people can get involved. But they can also join the Telegram group and participate in the conversation. I'll have the links in the description below. And when this goes out on X, I'll have the link. They'll be able to see it on screen every now and
Yeah,
then.
I think we've got now. I think there's about 8,000 people in the Telegram. It's quite a sizable amount. We've got a good presence on X as well with about 9,000 followers. We started to grow, and it's only going to get bigger as we move forward, and more people find out about it.
Yeah, I wish I'd got into Ethereum when there were only 8,000 followers.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Yeah,
there was. This is the thing, though, Rich. There was a time when that was the case. A lot of people tend to be skeptical and everything else, but how the Ethereum team did it. They just worked and they kept building. That's how they did it, and that's how they became one of the biggest the biggest coins in crypto. And our team's very similar. We don't look at the market cap. We don't look at the valuation. We look at what we've got to do today. Right. We have as meetings, we innovate, we solve problems, and we do this on a daily basis because I think a lot of projects out there, they're run as a secondary to that person's life. And all our team, this is their job, right? We do this for a living. It's not something where we work somewhere else or whatever else. We literally do this for our job. So, it's not really a project; it's a business. So
no, I think it's probably more than a business, given the nature of blockchain. It's your life. I bet you do this, Whitaker, same as me, and there's many people watching right now. Wake up. First thing you do is check the Bitcoin price.
Yeah. Well, actually, I tend to check the Ethereum price. To be fair,
fair enough. It's the same deal, right? It's the same deal. Look, go to CoinGecko, right? First thing.
Yeah. See where we are.
Then last thing at night, and then lie in bed thinking about crypto. Well, if this was that much, and I got this much, right?
It's a lifestyle. It's like it's one of those things. Yeah, you do get consumed by it, and it is addictive. But it's like I always say, like when you get passionate about something, you tend to get successful at said thing. You know. I mean, I love racing and everything else, and like even though I'm not Lewis Hamilton or whatever else, but I put a lot of time into it, and I really love it. And it's same with crypto. What we've built has been like a true labor of love. We've been at this the whole year. We've been grafting and meeting after meeting, thousands upon thousands of hours have gone into this project, and we've gone through trials, tribulations, success, failure. We've been through it all, and it's the journey, right? That's the whole point in crypto. It kind of gives you the opportunity to grow and succeed, and it's a new market, and anything's kind of possible, and you can work and do whatever comes up in your head, that you think's a great idea. You can applicate it, and that's what's so great about it.
Okay, well, one of the things I want to ask about is the features. So we've talked about why layer one, what is layer one and everything in the transaction fees, but what about the other characteristics of VSC?
So there's a few really. I mean, another which is for new people that won't really understand it, but it's quite, once you kind of get the grasp of it, you'll understand. Like most chains out there, they are either inflationary, which means their coins will always go up. So they'll be able to
The number, not the value, by the way, the number
of coins, can go up, or they're stagnant, so they'll always have the same amount of tokens, coins, whatever. Yeah. So we're classed as hyper-deflationary. Because hyper-deflationary, yeah, because basically we started off with 10 billion as a supply. We're now at 9.3 billion. But when the chain launches, it's built into the gas structure that $1 from every single transaction on chain will buy and burn VSG. So that means it's hyper-deflationary. So the supply will start to dwindle. So let's say, for example, you buy 10,000 tokens, for just as an example, today at 9.3 billion, and then that supply goes down to 1 billion. That means that your 10,000 tokens are worth, tenfold more, because obviously there's less of them. So the more you burn, the more the price goes up, basically.
Okay. Now, again, for newbies, new coiners, Bitcoin has a fixed supply of 21 million. That will never, ever change.
Yeah.
Dogecoin has an infinite supply. There's always more and more Dogecoin being produced, more and more Dogecoin being produced. What you're talking about is there's a fixed supply and it's being reduced by burning. And what that means is from the $4 for every transaction fee, $1 goes towards burning, i.e. buying some of the tokens on the marketplace and then sending those tokens to an address that nobody has the private keys for.
Correct. Which means they can't be sold.
They can't be sold, so they're off the market.
Yes, they're off the market. So it means that there's less sell pressure and more buy pressure.
Okay, but then isn't there a risk that I'm going to say something silly. Okay, forgive me. Isn't there a risk that there won't be enough tokens, and then how are you going to have the transaction fees and the whole chain will stop moving?
No, because it's done on a dollar value, not a VSG value. So all that will happen is $4 worth of VSG will just be less and less VSG every time.
Right. Okay.
So it means the possibility of VSG going from, let's say, for today's value is at 0.007. Yeah. There's a potentially, I keep on saying this particular figure, $12.62. It could potentially go there if the chain starts burning and everything goes to plan. So, it just means that it gives us the best chance to grow.
Right.
And people kind of speculate a lot when it comes to burning. Because obviously they understand the value of it and the scarcity that happens. I mean, look at the halving event around Bitcoin. It's not burning tokens, but it's giving less fees to validators. But it's such a speculation just on that one thing. So we're going to have this speculation every week.
Yeah, reducing the new supply. BNB with their quarterly burns.
Yeah, exactly. Look at the LUNC chain. After the crash, it minted all those tokens and everything else, and now they've got to burn it. And Binance have been burning LUNC for months and months and months, and the whole community absolutely love it. They can see the supply dwindling, and it's going to be the same principle with VSG.
Okay. So this would be worth a long-term hold.
Absolutely.
Right. But now, how fast is it? Because Ethereum is really, really slow.
Yeah.
Faster than Bitcoin, to give it credit.
Yeah. It's 5 seconds a block.
5 seconds a block. And how many transactions?
The TPS is not to be disclosed just yet. Once Mainnet's live, then it will be disclosed.
And Mainnet is going live when?
18th of December, 2024.
And we're recording this on Friday, the 13th of December, and this will go out before the 18th of December. Now, yes. Mainnet, what's the difference between where we are now and Mainnet?
Well, where we are now, we're on testnet. So testnet, it's not real tokens. It's just practicing, basically, to the unbeknown mind. But when Mainnet goes live, VSG itself gets its actual purpose. So if you're buying into VSG right now, you're buying just the token, right? Which is not. It hasn't got any use case right now. But on the 18th, it becomes a proper use case coin. So it's one of those things, having the opportunity, like you said previous in this call, buying Ethereum before the network went live. It's an opportunity that doesn't come around very often.
Sure, but how will that happen? Because it's an ERC20 token on the Ethereum network. Will there be a token swap or something? Or
No, it's just a bridge. So basically, what a bridge is, you put your ERC20 tokens in, because what people don't understand is VSG is currently a layer 2 token on Ethereum. So it's a layer 2 token, which is an ERC20 version.
Yeah.
So once you put it into that bridge, it then actually becomes VSG, and that's it. Yeah. So once it becomes VSG, so you basically the wallet that you have your VSG ERC20 in, you press a button, you press bridge, and then you put the RPC, which gives you the other version of your wallet on MetaMask or SafePal or whatever, and the same amount of tokens appear on the VSC side, which means then you can interact with inside our network for $4 per fee. You're not on the Ethereum network anymore.
Okay, good. Now, just to try and break that down from what you said to make it sort of for a new coiner or no coiner to understand. So right now, the VSG token is running on the Ethereum blockchain. When it goes to mainnet, it's a little bit like, I suppose, think of train tracks changing their gauge, going from one gauge to another gauge, and that requires a bridge. You go over the bridge to this other gauge, railway gauge, and as you go over the bridge, you're then getting VSG as your token, as your coin, because that's going to run on the VSC, the
network.
Yes. Okay. And now it's great having a layer 1, but a layer 1, there's no point to it unless there are projects building on the layer 1.
Yes.
So why would a project come and, well, we've said about the fixed fee and it's pretty fast. Do you have projects that are lined up? What sort of applications are going to be coming?
Yeah, we've got, there's probably 20 plus that we know of that are already ready to fire up. We've already had a few pre-sales that people have done for certain brands and tokens and everything else that are coming over. And then, of course, you've got prospective people that are going to be launching meme coins and all these different things. So, and I think, the reason why they would come and, go onto a new chain is because the speculation of it. I don't know if you watched Base when it first launched and everything else. The tokens on there just literally ripped, because obviously what you've got to understand is on Solana there's millions of tokens, right? On Ethereum there's millions of tokens, but in the early days on VSC there's only going to be a few, which means we've got over 7,000 holders waiting to buy these tokens, right? So which means the prices of those tokens are going to exponentially rise very quickly, which then other people looking in are going to be going, Jesus, new network, they're all flying, let's get in there and buy. So it's kind of like a snowball effect. And then once that kind of snowball starts going, then the more developers come and launch more things, people start developing. But there is something that the team are doing with universities across the world. With developers and everything else, we're tapping into the education sector for universities that do blockchain science, and they're going to use our chain for development purposes throughout the network around the world with universities. So, we haven't just thought, oh, let's just make a chain and just leave it. We've understood what's needed to be brought to chain. So, like I've said previous in other interviews I've done and everything else, our job starts next Wednesday. Yeah, this whole run up has just been the run up, right? It's been the job interview, right? We start the job on Wednesday next week.
That is Thursday. That is Wednesday, the 18th of December. Yes. And how can people take part?
Purely at the moment, what you need to do is just go, if you want to buy VSG, just go to Uniswap. There's, you can go to the website, vsgofficial.com. There's ways, there's documents on there showing you how to buy. So, we are on a Sendex as well. I don't know if anyone's got a Sendex, but we are on that centralized exchange, which can be bought with USDT rather than ETH.
Right. Okay. A Sendex being a centralized exchange, and also using a decentralized exchange like Uniswap. Okay. So I think, Whitaker, we're going to leave it there because you and I are going to speak again. I am going to be doing more videos on this project. Is there anything you want to say before we finish up?
to the general masses out there, when you're investing in things, you need to invest in the team. You're investing in people. People think that you're investing in a logo or anything else. You're not. In crypto, the best thing you can do is do your research, make sure you understand what you're buying into, and really get to know the team and where their vision lies before you invest. And I think if you come and have a look at VSG and speak to the team, we're all available to speak to over in the Telegram at VSG portal. Just come and have a chat with us, and then we can go from there.
Fabulous. I'll have. What is the website address, by the way?
It's vsgofficial.com.
vsgofficial.com, and I'll have the links in the description below my videos. And if you have any comments or questions, put them in the description below. Please share this video and do subscribe, because I will be covering this project. Let me know if you are a token holder and why you're a token holder. And between now and when I see you next, please keep filling your pockets with layer 1 profits. This is Crypto Rich and VSC. Whitaker signing out. All the best. Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys.